Hello. Well, I've been doing some cleaning on the farm yesterday and today. This is an old feeder trough for cows. This is an old wash tank that, well, the cows used to drink from that, we were told, and they wash here. This ball was used for rubbing the clothes. This one was for sharpening knives. Grapevines. These metal bars are railway track. And when they built this place, they brought all the soil in for the farm by little railway tracks and donkeys pulling it. This is bedrock, and then they built the wall on the top. This wall's made out of the same stone. Been cleaning in there with the tractor. We'll go and look in a minute. I've been cleaning out the front here. More irrigation tubing that comes from the tank right in the top of the farm. That gets pumped from the river down the bottom there. So I cut all this grass in this field yesterday. It's a pine tree that went over in Storm Elsa, which sadly broke half of that olive tree in half. I've still got to take it away yet. Absolutely hanging in olives this year, but the trees are enormous. They've got the lake is up there, but the water comes through there that leaks from the lake. It comes in here and then into a tunnel here, and then it goes into a tank we've got over there permanently, and then goes back to the river. But this was blocked, and this area, which is why this looks a bit funny, it grew this very strange grass that grows in waterlogged land, and I think we had another olive tree there which died because it was always sitting in water, and this one here didn't do very well. It'll come back, but it's looking pretty much dead. You can see most of it has died. These were abandoned for a long time. To be honest, we haven't cleaned them very well for the last couple of years, but we're getting there. Got a lot of work after the fire. This is a tree as big as this one that was rotten at the base and it fell over, and this is one of the suckers, and that's 2 years old now. In fact, look at that, it's 2 years old and it's producing olives. Not many, but it's producing, and it's turning into a decent shape. I've got to shape it a bit more to turn it to grow into a proper tree. Got over 500 olive trees. We've never actually counted them in fact. There's even more. In fact, there's one there. I can see another one in the back. There'll be another one along this wall, but there's a whole lot of land in there. There's about another 4 hectares in there, which I've got to clean out. It's absolutely lovely in there. Oh, what's that? A lizard. You're a lizard running away. So this field didn't have grass when we bought the farm. It was just this sort of dirt, and I've encouraged it to come back, and I try not to plough it, but we have to because of the fires. So this year I'm going to clean all of this bit here, because that part of the farm burnt last year, which we'll show you in some more videos, but this side thankfully survived. This didn't get touched. These lovely old cork trees. I mean, I had all these cleaned 3 years ago, and this is what a cork tree is meant to look like. Well, this is another cork tree. The sun, you should see that fairly well. And there must be 600, 700 cork oaks, sorry. is only a tiny part of the farm that you're seeing now. This was all completely abandoned. You couldn't walk in here. It was like this. And the problem is, I've got to be very careful. We've already rolled one tractor here on the farm, the smaller one that we had, and I don't want to be rolling another one because I don't think I'll be so lucky next time. Our river is down there, and we can walk down there through a lovely walk all the way through there. But this was literally like this, and I had to work my way slowly through here with a tractor and a cutting chain on the back, walking some of it, coming back on the tractor, cutting where I just walked, and then walking again, because if you don't, you can kill yourself very easily out here. In fact, more people a year die on tractors in Portugal than they do in car accidents. And this is the sort of thing you can lose your tractor down. And there's part of our river down there that flows heavily like that all year. We've got our own water font up in the farm. It's got drinking water flowing from it, spring water. We've got about 4 or 5 what they call nascents, which are natural water, spring water channels that come from rocks. Another oak tree. We've got to come in here by hand and clean this with machines. There's walls absolutely everywhere through here. That will be the wild boar. There's the river down there. Okay, well, we've just walked down there, but I want to show you the Lister pump that we've got. It's 90 years old. It's English, an English Lister pump. And it lives down there, and we're going to walk down there. We just must take a shortcut. So I've been cleaning this bank. Here is a wonderful old cork tree we've got. We've actually got a video of the guys cleaning this, and what you don't see in the video is why they looked a little bit nervous doing it. Because it's not growing from this level, it's growing from down there. And here are some stairs. Anyway, come on. That's the water that comes from the big lake that's running into a tank we've got. We never use this tank, but it's constantly full of water. It goes into, I don't know where it comes out, I need to investigate that. It's constantly filling with water. I'm under a cherry tree right now. There's baby cherries forming. Right, let's go find this pump. They give us lots of lovely hazelnuts. There's another one there, and there's another huge one there growing, which I've got to cut back a little bit. I'm going to take these big pines out. This one's fallen over, look, from Storm Elsa. It's just hanging there waiting for me to come along and take it away, thankfully, as I need all the time I can get at the moment. I've got so many things that have been damaged by this storm and the fire. That is because of Storm Elsa. Very sad. It's taken a big wall over. We'll fix it, but it's going to stay like that for a while. But it's a big farm. It's 13 hectares, and it's a lot of work. Another small pine, or piñal, a little group of pines, which I'm slowly taking out. So we've got wood for the four-note for all the videos to come. Another cork tree. And this is a ramp that goes down here for me to access all this land, which goes all the way to the main lake of the village. And I can come in here and go into this terrace, which we'll clean. We'll see me cleaning it. And sadly, we had a huge pine tree that was growing in front of this wall, I've got some bad video of it that I took that I'll maybe show you in a second. And here's what's left of the pine tree that fell over. It wasn't exactly small, and what it's done, this is one of the pipes that it's bent it. Well, it's bent it and split it actually. And unfortunately the tube comes across here and into the building there. Just here. And the weight of it being smashed down jacked everything up inside the building, and it broke all the pipe and tap work. So I've got to fix all of this, and that's going to be the subject of another video. This is a 90-year-old Lister, and it works absolutely beautifully, and that's all going to get restored, painted, cleaned. I'm going to take the heads off and check everything, take the fuel pumps apart, clean it, so that'll be interesting. It's a cold start CS2, it's called, for anybody that's interested, and this is the part that's broken. Now that's cast iron, but I'm going to repair that. I can weld, so that'll be a subject of another video, because if I don't weld that correctly it will just fracture again, because you can't weld cast iron particularly well. You can weld it, but it's not particularly structurally strong when you've finished it. And it's water cooled from this tank. Don't think you're going to see it, but there's a huge well down there where it gets its water from, and that water comes from the river. So this pump is going to be the subject of another video, and fixing this wall and the pipe work, and then you'll see it all working, and taking the water from the river there and pumping it at least with a 25-metre head to an enormous tank we have at the top of the farm, which then reverse irrigates the farm via gravity, and we've got tubes like this everywhere. Well, everywhere's a bit of an exaggeration. We had them everywhere before the fire, and the vast majority of the top of the farm is melted plastic. Miles of it, in fact. There's probably about 2 or 3 kilometres of irrigation tubing that's been destroyed. I just absolutely love the staircases. They even thought of a seat. So let's walk back to the house then. There's the pipe, and it goes underground about 6 feet there deep, and these guys have dug it by hand all the way to the top of the farm underground. This pine tree, sadly, well, these two fell over, sorry to point you into the sun, and it's keeled over and it's jacked up these first few steps here. You can see just under here. No big deal. You can see I've partially cut it there. I'm going to wait till I can hang the tractor bucket and we can lift it straight up into the next terrace. And then I'll fix those last 3 steps, level them up a bit more. But other than that, it's still stable to walk on. But let me come up to getting closer to the house. I said these are some of the olives I trimmed last year, well, the beginning of this year actually, but it's been so wet with rain. They've had a little bit of a feed this year too, and they're looking better for it, much greener, but you can see all the vertical growth. I mean, it was abandoned for nearly 20 years, the farm, so these trees were over double the size they are now. We got a guy in when we first came who cut them down, well, cut them back very hard. And then we had a lot of problems with builders and things, and the next year, as intended, we didn't have the time to actually go back and clean them again. And you can see where I've cut these several months ago. You've now got lots of vertical shoots which will all come off. all of these, in fact you can do this to them, everything that's pointing up comes off. If it's like this, for the 45, that's a fruit bearing, so you leave that, but you see I've taken, hang on, all of this is coming off, all from inside, and at this stage when they're semi-stiff you can just snap them off. This vertical one, no good coming out. This one's no good in fact and wants to come out, but I left it on last year to leave some foliage because the tree needs foliage to eat and live and rejuvenate. So it's a mixture of getting like this. This will come off, it's not balanced yet, but when I stripped the tree there was virtually nothing here, so it needed some foliage there to keep this side alive. So next year they're going to start looking a lot better. There's an example. Oh, even this tree is not as big as what this one once was last weekend. Well, last weekend, a couple of months ago, sorry. And now look what's left of it. You can see that you take everything from inside, all this fresh growth now, because I've cut away, it sends a force into the tree to tell it to regrow, and then you get a lot of this, which is why the trees, the first man we got to cut, he cut so much off, the tree went into a shock to save itself, so it throws out lots of growths, and unless you come along now and take these off, these are going to end up growing and growing and just taking away all the energy which you want to go in here. These now very bare exteriors will stay bare because all this rubbish inside is taking all the energy. And at this stage, just normally with a gloved hand, you just rub across and snap these off. Or if you come back a bit later, you just do it with a small saw, pruning saw. But there's this one. This will need bringing back, but again I've left that because now this is bringing in life. There's a few new shoots, so in 2 years they'll be bigger, and then I'll get rid of this and I'll be drawing the head back in a bit. But it's a big tree, that one, and some of the wood we've got left to pick up, which will go to the fauna or to the wood pile for next year, the same as this one. So this part of the house. We've got more land down there. So let's go and see what I've just cleaned with the tractor. So tree growing there, the saving step. I'll just cut in here because these burnt last year. The fire came that close to the house. All this eucalyptus is legally planted. It's too close to the house, it's too close to the fire road, it's over densely planted, and there is actually a fire road in there. Right, that's out the front of the driveway here. And it's completely closed, and the fire did its worst part and it had gone, and the lake is up there where the firemen were, and it came back again, and then it set light to this lot. It's not dirty, but it's grass, and when the summer comes, a couple more months, this is going to be very dry. So this is what a fire road should look like, and be that wide all the way through those eucalyptus. But it's not always the same. You can see just bits of the Gardenia mountain up there. They're right at the base of it. We've got some plums coming on these trees. These are, I don't know why, but these didn't get very badly burned. They did get the fire on them and it burnt all the leaves off. But they've been very resilient. There you go, lots of plums. Lots and lots. Considering this has just come from a fire, and it's a shame because this one was the same and it gave so much fruit, it was unbelievable. And these stakes were new fruit trees. I had another one, I think there was a peach on the end, gone. And yet the posts aren't burnt. Well, they're a bit brown, a bit blacky, but they're not very burned, but the little new trees didn't take it. I've got to trim this branch off, it's too close to the ground. I'll cut that off there. And maybe that underlying one, keep this tree praying at the sun. And then we've got a cherry tree here, another one there. I mean, we've got, there must be 85 fruit trees on the farm, all sorts of fruit trees. And then we can go out here to the back garden. I'll pass the other front garden first, which I've rotivated the exterior of it. I don't like to try and take up all the grass, because it's not a good farming practice to keep ploughing your land. You just kill it. But unfortunately, it's law here, so it's what it looks like once you've rotivated your land. This apple tree was absolutely no good whatsoever, and I've managed to bring that back to some sort of life. I need to stake it a bit better, but we've had, oh no, I think the rain's knocked them all off. We had plenty of flowers on there, but I think the fruits will be knocked off in the torrential rains we've been getting. So if it knocks the flowers off, it won't go through to fruiting. Another cherry tree that got burned. I mean, the fire came in here. The orange tree needs feeding. I cannot think for the life of me the name of this one that's full of this lovely fruit. Never remember the name. There we go. And there's part of another tank. Cherry trees, another orange tree, pear, orange, another pear. I mean, don't get me wrong, these are very old and going to be pulled out. That's a huge pear tree. And then we've got 2 more plums here. Bucket for the tractor. I've got to come back and do it again on the edges, but it's pretty much clean at the moment. Here's the tank with some fish in. See, this one's fruiting up as it's closer to the sun. The other ones are identical fruit. Yeah, they're not very good this year. Yeah, they don't look good. Last year they were immaculate. This year they don't look so good. But maybe the fire's got something to do with that. They'll be ready later on the year. More lovely Seville oranges. We've lost so many orange trees, it's unbelievable in the fire. Well, that is, I can't remember, it's a clementine, I think. No, I can't remember the name of all the oranges, we still need to look. There's another small orange tree that was inside a barrel to protect it from goats. But this one's got an oak next to it, which I've been tempted to pull out or to keep, and I've been keeping it, growing it in the hope that I'm going to plant it somewhere, but I think it might have to go because it's going to, one or the other is going to end up dying in the process. So I want to keep the orange tree. We've lost too many. Olive tree completely burnt. I mean, all those didn't get burnt. The fire came in here. It caught this one alight. I'm pointing you into the sun, unfortunately. So that's sad. Where it's all growing back is all the places you don't really want it. I had this pruned. It was a good looking tree, all hanging down. Look, you can see the way, the formation of what you want, but it got burnt quite badly. Forming on it. These will all be fruit, and they've survived past the rain stage. Thankfully, when they were just converting from flower to fruit, the rains backed off for a couple of weeks, and when it came back, the fruits managed to stay and resist being beaten off by the heavy rain. So we had that 2 years ago. Had a bumper crop like this, and the rain came and wiped 70% of it away. So there's a staircase that goes around to the other side of the house there. This is the back of the house. And there's a terrace there. So this is the back. That's the bucket for the tractor, which we're going to need to go and move the pine tree and fix the lister pump and take things down there when we video. So there's a passage down the side of the house, a bit overgrown. I've got to get the strimmer out again. Mind your eyes. And then we're back at the front. So, right. Well, see you later. Thanks for watching.